Hey guys, how are we? Lovely winter weather here down in Victoria. SES out every night, all happening down here. I am Clint, your friendly community manager for Ardent Roleplay. We create 3D augmented reality assets for playing with tabletop role-playing games. But today, I am going to be painting this lovely little fellow. He is George, I've decided. So he's going to be a white dragon. I did paint the angel and the bard last time, and I promised I'd paint a dragon this time. So this is a WizKids Pathfinder mini. As you can see, it's like a lot of detail. It's really cool. So I've been looking forward to painting this guy. White can be difficult to paint. Now, the question is, do I do an underlay and just, do like a coat over the top, or do I just start with the white and then sort of do some brushing and stuff over the top of the white, which is kind of what I'm leaning towards. But first things foremost, if you haven't seen Ardent Roleplay before, what you can do on the page right there, just above me, you can see a card, the Guardian's card, and it has a spectator code 4728532. Now, what you can do is you can use your phone, you can go into your App Store, search Ardent Roleplay, open it up, and that will open it up, and you will see down the bottom here, spectator code. Enter in the spectator code 4728532. Done. Join. That will unpack some files just like that. There we go. Look, and that's the screen you'll come up with. And once you do that, what you can do is you can use your phone and you can look at that Guardian card. And hopefully you will see something really cool. So I have decided I am going to just start with doing a white base coat. But I'm going to paint it very liberally. There's some, like you can see in the joins and the wings, I think if I do it pretty liberally, I can fill in those sorts of little cracks and stuff like that. So let's get started. So I said we could start chatting about anything. Now, I started playing Dungeons and Dragons when I was probably 13 years old. So, yay! G'day, mate. How you doing? He's a very, very attractive fellow. George is his name. So it's going to be just painting a lot of white. So it's not a lot of showing detail off and stuff like that for the moment, but we will get there. Big day, huh, Caleb? Oh yes, I remember. So anyway, I was saying I started playing Dungeons and Dragons when I was probably 13 years old. So 1985-ish. That's showing my age. And I was thinking about earlier today. That was when, like, it had been out for a few years. No, not Bazza. Because Bazza was a black dragon or a blue dragon? No, Bazza was the green dragon. Gaza was the Black Dragon? Oh god, I don't remember. But I was thinking about it when I started playing. It was just the basic set, so it's just like the used to have like it was a red box, and it was quite literally a book, literally only about the well, not even like it was just really thin, and the DM's guide was even yeah thinner. Um, oh wow, the details in this are really cool when I start putting in let's do it just on the like the nose ridges and the brow and the nostrils. Got a lot of detail in the teeth. But I remember playing the first adventure was the first time I played it was with my mate Shane. Yeah, the red box with the warrior in the front, sword, shield over his back, big red dragon blowing fire. You can buy the like old school t-shirts and things like that that have got that on it. But I was thinking, what? Hey, Chris, what was your favorite iteration of D&D, like from basic up to now? Because mine, I was thinking about this earlier today. Mine was definitely basic, but not basic. It went into the blue box, which was the Explorer box, and then it had the black box, which was the Master set, and then it had the green box, I think it was, and then the gold box. So, and the reason I was thinking about that was I was on D&D Beyond earlier, and I see they're bringing out another expansion, even for the Feywild, which is really cool because it gives there's people don't really know a lot about the Feywild. They sort of think fairies and it's very Celtic and Welsh mythology. Doesn't look like I'm actually painting it, does it? Just like I'm just pretending I've got a brush and I'm just pretending to paint. But it is, yeah, it is, and that's what I was that's what I was kind of getting at is I enjoyed 3E, the depth of the rules and the way, but people could get lost in that. And I've always been one, like, I've always been one to say that the rules are not always there. The rules as written, rules are there to be broken, has always been my philosophy. But the way that um, they're bringing out a lot of the new content, especially because what was I was reading They had the like with the Unearthed Arcana, and they had with um, Strixhaven and which mage guild we're going to be a member of and things like that. That reminds me of 3.5, where you're starting to get a lot more content. Um, I don't know if you remember the books, like you had the barbarian book and the warrior book and the fighter book, and then you had all the different types of mages and wizards. So evocation, the guide to be the evocation wizard. But they're doing. I think they're doing an extraordinary job with that releasing the way they are now. Well, there we go. That looks very good. I know it doesn't look like it, but up close you can actually see the difference in the color. Thanks, mate. Have a good night. And I'm sure a relaxing one after a busy day today. I can't wait to start painting the details around that head. Oh, took the thing out of his pooper. He had a thing in his pooper. Oh, I hope the Twitch algorithm doesn't pick up on that. Have you still got all yours? I moved. I moved between the Australia and the US. Yeah. Thanks, Gravy. Love you too, buddy. You've been waiting. You've been waiting how long to say that, mate? Yeah. I I moved between the US and Australia a couple of times. So in the moves, we had a family home down in South Gippsland, but majority of my stuff got lost or mislaid or and the last time I went over to the US, I I took my D&D stuff and I was there for a couple of years and things didn't turn out very well and I ended up getting deported. So all my D&D stuff is still sitting over there in a friend's cupboard, I'm sure. But that was all of my. Oh, I bet they were. Um, that was all of my 2E stuff. Um, plus a lot of the 3E stuff. I'd started playing a little bit of the vampire as well then, so that. But I wish I still had those. Like, I actually just still wish I had the box sets, like the red box, the blue box, and the black box. Because I remember the red box was just basically the introduction into Dungeons and Dragons, but with the Dungeon Master's Guide, you had the ability to um, create your own dungeons, and they were literally dungeons. They weren't, they weren't big adventures or campaigns like they are now. They were, literal, not one shots, but you dungeon delve. Um, you know, look for traps, turn left, turn right. Some of the things, and I said this on last stream, but the very first monster I ran into, and I thought I was this big, tough as shit warrior in plate mail armor. The very first monster I ran into was a rust monster. It destroyed me. My mate Shane had a ball destroying all my metal armor. Because of course I didn't make a decent roll. Oh, Elmore's art is he I think he's starting to collaborate with TSR again. Because TSR as a company have just started up and they've got the at TSR museum and all that stuff, which is really exciting because it's Gary Gygax Jr. and a few of his mates. So that's, that's really exciting for them. Yeah, that was the very first one. So you had that in there, and there was the skeletons, and if you went up on this ledge, there was ghouls, and they got because they got a surprise attack on you, and there was, and then I guess the next thing I ever got into after that was the Dragonlance stuff, which was literally the Dragonlance modules, which were based off Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman's own campaign. But the second box, which was the blue box, that opened just the basic stuff up to the world, because that had the hex maps, and then you had the ability to draw terrain and doing all these things, and everything was a little bit different, which was really, really cool. The blue box was I think my favorite, because there was a lot more monsters introduced with that as well, because of the outdoors, and it had a lot of the basics, like the basic mechanics for how you use it, like rules for carts, and all of the stuff in the outside. And then the master set, that was where it got detailed. And by about that stage too, I think it's when they started coming out with the second edition stuff. Like that's when Advanced Dungeons and Dragons was already out by then as well. So, but I remember as a kid, this is the first time I remember I was sick. Like I was legitimately sick. I had the flu or something, and I was as crook as a dog. And Mum made me stay home, but if I had to stay home, I had to stay home and read books or do something, And then so I said, okay, but I've got nothing to read. So she went into town and she bought me the very first Dragonlance novel. And I finished it in 6 hours. I'm a pretty fast reader, and wouldn't say speed reader, but I do read really fast. And I remember the next day, I um, I was perfectly fine, but I pulled a sickie. I was so sick again. Oh, mum, oh, I'm so sick. I can't do anything. So she went in town and bought me the next two novels because of the trilogy. So, who's your favorite character? D20. Mine, like people always say when I'm talking about that, they always say like usually wrestling, but mine's a little bit different. But that's because yeah of other reasons. I liked Caramon, like the big brother. He was always, which is why I like the second trilogy. But I was always disappointed they never went into detail. Tasselhoff is like Tasselhoff Barefoot, man. Best character. Such a good character. But what I mean, Kenda. How can you not Kenda? They're just amazing. I yeah, Tass is great. And Tika. Like but the dynamic between Tass and Flint, and then Tass and Fizban or Paladin. Spoiler alert. Um, it's just yeah, they they really had a good way of writing, which especially for like a young adult, because they are very good books. And then I got into all of the Dritz Duerden, like the Crystal Shard, and Wolfgar and Caddy Bree, Brunor. But I actually liked. I love the idea of the Death Knights, like Lord Soth. It was so Lord Vader. But I really like the story about the cataclysm and how it came, and like the imbalance was with good this time, so evil had to come out, which is an interesting topic. Hmm? I don't know if you can see the difference. One's wet, one's not, but yeah. Um, but Caramon was my favorite. He was. They did give him like in the test of the twins. He was a bit of a like I don't know, a whiny millennial. Sorry for any millennials that are watching. Not really. But was it Time of the Twins, Test of the Twins, and I forget the last one. But I wish they, like, yeah, the story was over, which is, you know, all stories must come to an end. But it was definitely my favorite as a kid. I think the next fantasy genre I got into was Raymond Weiss, so the Magician series. Now, if you haven't read that, that is an amazing read. In fact, I would go so far as to say I think I read that not long after I read the Dragonlance stuff, because it's sort of really, you know, once you start reading that sort of stuff, it goes on and on. I mean, because I'd already read Lord of the Rings by this stage. I read, or had been read, the first time I heard Lord of the Rings was when I was in primary school, and our teacher used to read us a chapter a day. And oh my god, was that boring when we got to Tom Bombadil? Um, Lord of the Rings is always like I think I've read. I couldn't actually tell you how many times I've read Lord of the Rings. Like it's there's been times where I've read it like more than two, maybe even three times in a year, just because it's a really good read if you're not doing much at the time. Um, and that's probably the only book I've actually read that many times. I've actually reread most of my favorite fantasy models, but novels. There we go. That's nice. That is very nice. So I could. I don't have a base spray. I would have actually base sprayed this white. I've only got black and gold because of all the Warhammer minis I've done. Yes, exactly, Gravy. Exactly. More white for the white god. Speaking of which, where are we? I've been doing some touch-ups on, where are we? This guy. Woohoo! Is it really? I haven't. Yeah, the gold spray. The gold spray. You've got to be really careful with it because it gets all the metallic. All the metallic. It, just runs everywhere. Okey-dokey. This is kind of like a. This is only like a, almost a speed painting, because you know yourself painting some models this large. Although this guy doesn't have a lot of detail to him. When I mean detail, paint colors. He's got a lot of detail, but I'm going to bring that out with a really light shade of blue, and I may do a bony color for his fingers and ivory and stuff like that. What about you, Gravy? When did you first get into D&D? Oh, that looks really good. And I say again, it actually doesn't look that different, but you can actually see the difference really once you're really close. And once I start doing the overlays, yeah. If Lusky ever gets time again, maybe we can organise a game for us to play. Because we can do it online and stuff like that. What about favourite books? Sorry, George. I know you don't like that. So, have you ever read Magician? Because that is a great book. Lots of politics, lots of wizards, great ones. Elves, dragons. And by dungeon, I'm assuming you mean you're in Final Fantasy 14 and you are tanking or healing. Sorry, George. I know that's uncomfortable. So, one of the things we're going to be doing over the next few weeks is Jacob and I going to be creating a campaign that uses Ardent Roleplay, which, let me change it actually. What I'll do, okay, is let's have a do this if you haven't actually seen it yet. So we're going to go to that card. Okay, so like I showed earlier, all you got to do is you log into your phone, use your phone. It will work on the most potato of phones. Go to the App Store, download the Ardent Roleplay app. In the bottom right hand corner, when you open it up, you can put in the spectator code, which is above me, just there, 4728532, and you will see something really, really cool. So it may or may not be George's home, and let me know what you see. So what Jacob and I will be doing is creating our own campaign and series of one-shots. So that will comprise of mini adventures, just a series of NPCs, a series of encounters. That we'll be setting up. Yeah, well, sorry, that we will set up. Got lost in my concentration just then. So a series of adventures. Jacob's doing the very first adventure, and then I'm going to do the second one. And the way it's going to work is while he's doing the building in the creation kit. Hey, Joe Manwee, how are you? Thanks, bud. I am trying my best. I'm by no means professional, but I am trying my hardest. And it's starting to come up really good. I'm going to be able to doing some highlighting very, very soon. So Jacob is going to create all of the assets you with Ardent Roleplay in the actual app. And then I'm going to create the non-player characters. And maybe we'll use some things like dungeon fog and different map stuff. Use the creation kit in D&D Beyond for the NPCs, or maybe even Roll20. I haven't decided yet. Oh, there I go. I'm painting myself. There we go. Okay. Once I get this done, and his left arm and his other arm finished, we can start on doing some of the highlights. Lots of little cross areas in here. The skulls will look really cool. So I think once I start doing the highlights, it'll really pop. Which would be cool. I like things to be cool. Such a nerdy thing to say. So yeah, I'll get that done. And then all I have to do is the whole breastplate all the way down the bottom. And then that finish off that arm. And that is done. And then we will have no more white for the white god. We might have some blood for the blood god. And for all you not in the know, that is a Warhammer reference. Oh, that leg. Oh no, I've done that. I've just got to do this side. There we go. There you go, George. Sorry. Blood for the blood god. Did I show you what Lusky bought me, Gravy? Last year, this is. Green tea myself. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I have this to paint. Let me just grab this out, which I'm very looking forward to painting. That. Woohoo! Adeptus Mechanicus. Which is, yeah, I like the Adeptus Mechanicus. I like the story behind it. They're basically nerds who weren't taken seriously, and now they wreak havoc on anyone that pisses them off. There we go. More water! More water! Excellent. What faction do you play in Warhammer, Chris? And do you prefer Age of Sigmar or do you like 40k? Because I've got Stormcast Eternals for Age of Sigmar. I really like the Stormcast Eternals. I like the idea behind the whole way that Stormcast, just the theory and the lore behind them, which is really cool. Resurrection of old warrior of ancient warriors and things like that. And they every time they're resurrected, they lose a part of themselves. Uh, but I have a full 3K army painted, and I have 3,000 point army, that is, and I have another 1,000 that's left to be painted. Ah, yeah. Watching can be fun. I remember at PAX Um, not last year, year before, so 2019. Um, Such a great year. Um, I just remember I was watching this. I just remember walking up to this one table, and right as they were, the guy rolled to attack, and then this woman rolled to defend, and he had to roll again for crits or whatever, and then she had to roll to defend those, and it was tit for tat, like literally counted everything, and it was like the odds of that happening are just zero, but it happened. Dice rolls, rule games. I do like the quick formats in the games that you can play now. So some games, they only take like 20 minutes to a half an hour, or an hour max. Oh, sorry, George. Okay. Yeah. Speaking of which, I think I should probably mention. If you haven't already, there's a humble bundle at the moment for the Pathfinder stuff. So there's some modules, some books, rule sets. It's like $450 worth of Pathfinder stuff you can get in a humble bundle. So it's all two second edition. Oh, I don't want to touch you where you're wet. Where are you wet? Oh, there we go. That's better. Sorry, George. Okay, almost finished. Not finished painting, just finished the base white. So, has anyone had a look at the card and tell me what they've seen? I love, I love the. So, have you seen some of the music videos that they've done? Like they've done, like with Warhammer animation. Like there's one that I remember from for whom the bell tolls. So like Metallica, but it's basically Ultramarines fighting chaos. Just really cool animation. Okay, that's going to look really cool. So I thought like black claws and stuff like that for him, but then I thought no, he's a white dragon. You have like his claws would be like ivory, not like ebony. Ebony and ivory, living in perfect harmony. Sorry, I can't sing for shit. Doesn't stop me. My dad, whenever he was happy, he'd always break into song. He'd go, "Oh Lord, it's hard to be humble when you're perfect in every way." That's about the only words I can remember. But he used to every time he was happy, he'd start singing that. Wow, I think we're almost done on that first coat, guys. Okay. Ah, yeah, I remember you had the Bone Reapers. Okay. So what I'm going to do with good old George here, she can actually see a lot of details in his face. But what I'm going to do, I want him to look like, I mean, he's a white dragon and he just looks white right now. But obviously want to give him some character. So I want him to look like, because white dragons breathe that cold breath, which if, oh, you look at, spoiler alert, this card, and if you haven't yet, please download the Ardent Roleplay app. Once you open up the app, down the bottom right hand corner, there is Spectator. Click on Spectator and put in the code that's just above me, 4728532. You will see George. Now, okay, so being a cold dragon, I want to, like, I want to give him that frigid ice kind of effect. So I thought the best way to do that is like with maybe like a light blue. So I was thinking about like dry brushing some blue highlights through him, but it has to be really light because whilst I can dry brush the blue and then re-dry brush over the top of it with white to give it to make it a little bit more faint. So I mean, I have no idea if these things work. This is just me trying out different things. So I need a good dry brush. That one there is really good. I like that one. I've used that one before. So the way you dry brush is just get a little dab on your brush and you just get rid of all the paint. Literally. Another bit of paper. There we go. And what you do is you literally does that. So I'm only going to do his head for now, but then we can chat a little bit. Yeah, I'll come down summer, mate. Yeah, because you know, obviously reason why down to the beach house end of July for some Age of Sigmar 40k. Yeah. Oh, let's see. Right on his horns. That's what I'm talking about. So I can turn him around. And on his brow ridges. Should be able to see that side a little bit better, I think. Oh, there we go. Look at that. So very, very light. And then what I'll do is I might do it. I might do a little bit of highlighting of the actual brow ridges and stuff, like with a white to actually pop them off. Oh, sorry, George. Oh, you almost fell. Trying to move from me, George. Stop it. There we go. So I will do that. I think I'll do that on his like head, and I'll brush it lightly over the top, but then I might do it a little bit heavier over the wings, and then I might do I'll definitely do like a highlight line across the bone areas. Maybe even make him an ivory, like a yellow ivory. Okay. There we go. Okay, so there on his neck. And what I'll do is I'll re-go over those like with highlights for white, so that you can actually tell that he's white and not actually a blue dragon. I think that's actually coming up really well. I like that card. That well, that asset that I've linked to that card, because that card could have different assets next time. And I will show you the other card, which may or may not be where George lives. Go. But it's actually coming up really well. I'm really pleased. Like, the last couple of models I did came up really well as, you know, too. And one of the things I really like, I love using contrast paints, but this is not. Wouldn't work out well. Would not work out well if I used contrast paints for this. But can you see that? Like, white, does it make him look frigid, cold? The blue. Yeah. Yeah. Do you see his little baby? He's got a little. He's got a little. He's got a little knacker. If anyone has any tips on what I should be doing with this, feel free. Because, like as I said, I'm just having fun with this. I'm not the greatest painter. Like, I just enjoy it. Burn it. No, what do you reckon? Is the blue okay? To give him that frigid ice look? Twitchy. George's son, Twitchy. Okay. Gonna need more blue. Okay. I really like that. What do you think? Just that blue twitch. Blue twitch. Blue, I don't know. Sheen, almost. There you go, George. I think that makes actually the areas like these tips highlight even better. So when I do them with like, I'll do them like with a bony ivory. Doesn't really focus very well. Oh, there we go. Just got to do this side. Once I do the bone, once it actually highlights up these areas that I need to actually do afterwards, which is kind of cool. So doing a bony color is, not sure how I'm going to do a bony color. So I'm guessing I'll try a little bit yellow and a bit of a lot of white. There we go, that's better. There's your stool again. George. Oh, that'll look good. I'll redo that with a white. Getting a bit of character there, George. Okay. So when you're dry brushing, you don't need any paint on your brush really at all. It just what little there is. You can't really see that. Just gets taken off the edge of each of the scales. Okay. So once we finish with these, that's better. I will do the same thing again with white, but I will also leave areas to highlight. I think painting the white dragons, or even just in lore, white dragons are. I like white dragons a lot because of the crystal shard. When Wolfgar has to, or does his, man quest or whatever they want to call it. The he goes and fights a white dragon, covers himself with walrus blubber, and dives into this pool and protects himself from the cold and does all this preparation to go and fight a white dragon, which has always been kind of cool to me. There we go. Welcome if you haven't been on with this for long. I'm currently dry brushing highlights onto our friend George the White Dragon. And that reminds me, if you haven't, feel free to click on the links below and join our Discord community. We will be updating our Discord very, 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 very soon, so you can join in on any of the events that we're going to be having upcoming and be able to sign up for any of the calendar stuff that we'll be showing. go. You can see a lot more of the blue highlights now. So let's try and create a bone color, shall we? Not very confident with this. Oh, actually that might work. Okay, so let's try a little dabby yellow. And Rakarth flesh. Not very boned yet. But a bit of white. Add that to it. Ooh, that actually might look well, really nice. Get rid of that yellow. Oh, I like that. I do like that. Okay. Let's do his teeth. And for this, I need to cheat. Here we go. There we go. You can actually see the difference there in the camera. So let's do his claws the same colour. Got like one Mankey, one claw that's like fully, you know, look at that, look like tough claw and then Mankey claw. It's like he's got overdeveloped. He's definitely left-handed, this dragon. Oh. Okay. So I think there we go with that. We have these here. That's actually coming out really good. I like the way that it definitely contrasts. The bone color that I've made up, which is just literally a mixture of yellow Rakarth flesh and white. It's actually just coming out with just a highlight, and it's actually because of the way that I've done the blue over the top of the white. It's actually coming up really nice. And then I'm just doing a little bit of on some of the bones that's poking through the skin. Just a light like that. Just highlights them up a little bit. And yeah, you can. Okay, so George is going to have. I'm going to keep those beady little black eyes. A baron black. And I will give a quick shout out to my friends from the Burning Crusade World of Warcraft Guild. I know a couple of you guys are watching. Thank you. And Novi is lurking in the background. Gravy knows Novi. Yeah. I completely agree. Completely agree. But that's what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another white light dry brush over the top of the blue to make it pop out as white instead of things as blue. So it's actually looking like I'm really pleased with. Like it looks frigid. It looks cold. So which is my goal? Which was my goal? Goal. Um. So I have such. Whoa. I can see, says George. Um. Yeah, so that's what I want to get. I want to get the white back out over the top of it, so that you can tell he's actually a white dragon as opposed to like almost look like like a light blue dragon right now. But now I need. Okay, so white dragons breed cold breath. They still have a red tongue, right? They'd have a red. No, would it be more pale, pallid? Hmm, like pinky flesh. I think. I think pinky. Um, in fact, I might actually dry brush over the top with that one again, using that one as a heavy white brush. Okay. there we go. Pinky tongue. That'll look really good. Okay. So I think that's what I'll do. I think, yeah. So he definitely looks like frigid, like he's cold, which is good because he's a white dragon. So he's, I mean, not meant to be cold, but like he's meant to definitely exude cold. Oh, no colour, not white. And don't need those anymore. Paint's a bit thick. That's much better. Okay. Go. And actually, I think I'll just do it on his. Oh yeah, that looks good. Okay. So. In fact, I will use these again. Thanks, Lauren. What do you reckon? I'm actually really pleased with that. Just those tips, highlights in the tips. And I'm going to do a couple more with just plain white. Which will actually just highlight some of his brow ridges. There we go. And yeah. That makes him look angrier. Okay, so just a couple more. There. Here we go. All right, so for now, a finished product. I'm actually, there's not much more I'd actually like to do to this guy. I mean, he's a, I mean, that's why part of the difficulty I think with white dragons in particular is that white is such a hard medium to get any detail out of. So the lack of details, if that makes sense, sort of like I actually really like this guy. Yeah. But there we go. I will change the old card one last time. Back to the Guardians card. And you can see George in all of his glory, breathing ice. So if you don't know how, just one last reminder for those who aren't watching, please, in the App Store, search for Ardent Roleplay, download the app. Once you've downloaded the app, open it up. In the bottom right hand corner is the spectator code. Above my head there is the spectator code. Put that in, 4728532. Use your phone to look at that card. And you will see George. There. Well, I've had fun. Thank you. I think I might wrap it up there, guys. But I am Clint, again, your friendly community manager for Ardent Roleplay. Thank you for everyone for stopping in and chatting. I've had a really fun time painting George. And I look forward to next week. Hopefully next week we're going to be creating, as I said, the very first adventure for a series of adventures that Jacob and I will be creating. So thank you so much. I look forward to talking to you again. Thanks a lot, guys.